Have you ever had a time or a period in your life where you were just flowing in the right direction? You know those periods, those moments in life where everything just with synchronicity comes together and just flows absolutely perfectly. And you may know people that seem to access this place of being all of the time. They just tend to flow. My name is Matt Dobiana. Welcome to the Advance Impact Legacy Show, where we encourage, motivate, inspire, and mobilize people to live life on their terms and to find the tools and the strategies to help them get where they want to go faster, more efficiently, and also with a lot of fun. Today, I want to talk a little bit about flow state. Flow state is so key to not just peak performance, but optimal living. At the higher states of flow state, it is even possible to induce real well-being and some. Okay. What is flow state? Flow state is a place of being where you are letting go and you are inducing your assets to create success and peak performance. And I guess I'd like to tell you a little story about flow state. It's so key. But before I do that, what if you could enter, the room in flow? What if you could do the presentation in flow? What if you could trade? A lot of our followers are traders. What if you could trade in flow? Well, what would happen is you would find exponential results. And that is really super exciting. We've had some really good news in our family this week. My daughter, Lily, has passed her driving test. Go, Lily. And, the great thing is she's 19, but she's been doing her lessons for just around about a year. But in that year, she's faced a lot of challenges. Now, the first challenge, obviously, with the lockdowns and the instructors weren't allowed to teach, so she had a lot of disturbance to the flow of her driving lessons. The second thing is, it's her first driving test, and I drive a big automatic. She's taking a manual license, which is, stick shift for our US friends, okay? And so she wasn't really able to practice, in the family car, etc. And so she had a few disturbances. The day before the test, we actually realized that her test is at 8 a.m. on a Monday morning in our local area, and she was getting a little bit anxious. And so what I did was I decided to help her to access her natural peak performance state, which is flow. And we'll do a whole session on how you can do that in specific arenas of your life. But basically, it's a letting go process. You see, Lily was ready for the exam. But what Lily would want to induce is the state of victory. And so as Lily was driving with me on Sunday, the day before the test, I got her to be the examiner and me to be the student. So automatically, I'm putting her outside of her conscious kind of awareness. Now she's an examiner. And that was actually a little bit of a trick, because what I was doing was getting Lily to look at the task in hand from a different perspective. And as soon as you create that shift, you start to move towards flow, because it's part of letting go and it's part of coming out of the limitations that you're presently in. And, to cut a long story short, we had a really good drive. We drove a few test routes and she was feeling really good. And then I started to talk to her a little bit about her unconscious mind, because your unconscious mind has a prime directive to go and get you what you want. And of course, Lily started to focus on the feelings and the energy and the visualizations of what it's like to finish your test and be told that you've passed. And I think you can all know that's exactly what happened. She went for the test. She actually had the toughest instructor in the area in which we live. Apparently, the driving instructor said he was the toughest examiner that she had. And he took her on a route that's no longer used. So she hadn't practiced this route before. But that didn't matter, because she was in flow and her energy was already moving towards what she wanted. And it may sound very simplistic, but just from an in-play aspect, okay? You've got to understand now, Lily was more relaxed. She was focused on the goal. She wasn't consciously trying to win. Mentally and energetically, she'd already won, and she was now free to just let go and enjoy the moment. And that created resources that maybe she wasn't consciously aware of before. You see, flow state is your abundant state. Flow state is packed with resources that right now you presently may not be aware of. Flow state is your peak performance state. We're going to do 3 or 4 videos on flow state. Just wanted to introduce it today. And I wanted to kind of encourage you and help some of you that may be going through challenges in business, in your personal life, in communication, in your hobbies or the stuff you're doing, in your sphere of excellence, in your work, okay? There may be stuff where you're feeling challenged. And what I want to do is to encourage you, to remind you, and to inspire you potentially to start to move towards flow state, which is a letting go. It's a letting go and a moving into something that is not where you are presently. Flow state is a place of being. It's a peaceful place. It starts with relaxation, and it starts with knowing the outcome before you start the pursuit. So I want to encourage you today, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We're going to be going in a lot more detail than this, and we're going to be encouraging you, helping you, motivating you, and bringing you some really cool guests so that we can drop content that allows you to move really, really swiftly towards where you want to go. And you want to flow there. You definitely want to flow there. My name is Matt W. Onarone, a mentor to the ambitious entrepreneur. And please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and of course YouTube at the Advanced Impact Legacy